remain relevant and at the top echelon of your industry, even after so many years and so many accolades? What have you been able to do to remain relevant, to keep your relevance in check, to keep your relevance enduring, even with the many awards and accolades and recognitions that you have received? How? Tell me.
Well, I think what I've been able to do is what I could call I rebirth myself, like a rebirth. I give birth to myself again and again. Now, let me break it down. You see, when people know you for something and you keep doing that thing without doing other things that will engage them, they will be tired with your content. So what I have done is to make sure that every content I bring to the table has an iota of originality and newness. The way the Nigerian art or the global art market is structured, it is structured in a highly competitive manner that if you don't have a different spice to the meal you are cooking for them, they will go for somewhere else where they can taste something different. So I make sure that every time I come out as if that thing is entirely new, even though it's just recycling. Another thing I try to do is that we're in a global village where once you go out of people's sight, then you lose your position. So I make sure that every week I have something to tell the world. I make sure that every week, I have a content to give the world. Sometimes I do twice in a week. Sometimes I create content 3 times in a week. Now, I've been able to use my social media to reach the world. Now, for me, I try to look at Nigeria as a case study. Nigeria has about 220 million population, and I have just 100,000 followers on my Instagram. That means the whole of Nigeria they don't even know anything about me. Just 100,000 is not enough. So I make sure that every week I gain one other person to myself that will know something about what I do. Every week I make sure that, in fact, every day I create a story. You must see a story about me. None of us know when we're going to leave the planet, but every day you must do something that will be relevant, something that somebody needs. You have to meet a need every day, and that is the best way to remain relevant. Coupled with the fact that people are actually, there are a lot of queues. People are behind you that are chasing you, they want to just push you aside. So the moment you realize that you have a lot of young people looking up to you, you have to keep moving. There was a time someone told me that some artists are beginning to copy my works and I might lose my value, I might lose my worth, I might lose my relevance. I said, okay, now, thank you. The more they copy, the more I get my identity. That's number one. I know the part of suing somebody for plagiarism, but I will not do that part. You know why? If your substance is not good, nobody will copy it. That's my belief. So I make sure that I raise the bar so that whoever I want to copy will work his ass out, to get that level. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I will make sure I put in my best, that before you can do exactly what I have done, you will pay through your nose. And once you can do that, you will always be relevant. That is my home belief. And that is the line I have told for years. And glory, we are still pushing.
I mean, I thank you for that response. I thank you for that response, because I like your analogy of saying you have to always improve on your recipe for the food, for the meal you are preparing for the world, if you want to remain relevant. And that analogy is great, because every parent, when we are growing up, they have to. Some children will say, "No, mommy, I don't want this. Oh, daddy, I don't want that." The parent has to. They have to change the way they present. Maybe the presentation. Maybe okay. We are from Okiodo, and I'm coming to Okiodo. We are from Okiodo. We are not. We are not very tush when we are growing up, right? Maybe the way you are presenting the akamu is not the way the guy likes it.
Yeah.
So maybe changing the presentation might make it appealing to that guy, and that is also rebirthing yourself that you talked about. I mean, that is very, very well. That is very important. So, as somebody who wants to remain relevant at the global stage, who wants to have an enduring success, you want to ensure that you are adding value to yourself every day, and you are always in the face of your clients, of the people that need you. Like you said, creating stories every day, creating content every week and twice a week. These are ways to remain relevant. I mean, these are very fantastic points. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Now, there's something that is common to both of us. And number one is that we are both striving to change the narrative of Nigeria on the global stage. We are towing different paths, which is fantastic, right? But we are also both from Okiodo. Now, tell me. I mean, Okiodo, for people that doesn't know Okiodo is one suburb area in the Limosho local government, Lagos State. It has produced a lot of global giants, including Dotun. So tell me, what has it been? How has it been looking back to your days, to your years in Okiodo? And I know very vividly you lived on Old Dota Road in Okiodo.
Yes.
So how has it been? How has the journey been from Okiodo to the world?
You know, each time I remember 1999, there's always these tears of joy that comes to my eyes, because that was the year my father and my mom was chased out of a rented apartment just in one night. You know, the landlord just came from his workplace and said, "You guys are leaving my house tomorrow." We didn't have any other house to go to. My dad did not even have house rent. So my dad called some member of some of our church members, and they said, "Okay, he's saying he's going to pack all your load outside. Well, don't worry, you guys can move inside the church." Wow. So the church gave us, I can never forget this, somewhere in the corner of the church, 6 feet by 6 feet space. And that is where they kept the father, the mother, and 6 children. Wow. So we're 8 in number in a room of 6 feet by 6 feet. We all cried, we shed tears, but we remained steadfast. I was sleeping, Okiodo Baptist Church has this bench. They don't have white plastic chair then. They have a bench and pulpit. So for 7 years, we were sleeping on the bench. All of us.
7 years? You don't mean it?
7 years we were sleeping on the bench because my parents could not afford house rent. As at that time, I just finished secondary school. And definitely you're looking for admission to, you just want to enter school by all means. Admission jam will jam you, have 4 credits, I failed jam several times. So at that moment, I had, I told you I started learning art 1995. So from 95 to 99, that's 3 years. So yes, 4 years. So I've been learning art, which I use to pay for my WAEC, which I also use, sometimes to feed my family, because my dad's work at that moment collapsed. And fast forward to after we left that church, we moved to another place. I told myself that my parents were embarrassed from a rented apartment. He could not buy a house to himself. He could not build a house. That I'm going to make sure that I work so hard that on this planet, I will have house every country that I go. I mean, the story is becoming a reality. I mean, to God be the glory. But that moment redefined my life, because as at that time I was thinking I was going to study medicine, but I was studying art from a roadside artist. I was doing art, but I was passionate about going to study medicine. My dad was like, okay, you have to be a doctor. You have to be a doctor. You have to be a doctor. But art is inside my blood. So suddenly I got to Dotun Popoola and went to Ife, finished from Ife. And after that 7 years, things started changing. I moved my parents. I rent another place for them, 3-bedroom apartment. Few years after, I bought a property for them in Songwater. Now they are living in a beautiful home in Abulegba. So the story, the rag day stories, almost two of us know we have it. We have this rag that if we continue to talk about the story alone, we might not finish this episode. But one thing that have remained in my heart is that whoever that I know that is passing through the situation that I've passed through, whatever little help I can render to make sure that that person can get out of that situation, I will do it. This December alone, the life that I fed, I can't count the numbers. The orphanage that we touched, the less privileged that we visited in the village to give them food, clothing, and things, the students and children that we gave light school fees, bought bags of rice for. Only this December alone, I cried because I'm able to feed not less than 200 people just only December. So each time I remember where I was coming from, I always want to just give back. And that is why I said my core value is to make sure that my art gives smile to someone else. Even when I make money from it, I make sure that the resources is used to give smile to someone else. I may not come to the public on my page and be talking about the charity, this, or who we gave this and who we gave this, but we know thousands of dollars that goes into that different charity organizations that I may not want to mention. And to God be the glory, Okeodo has raised giants, and God will help us to remain giants. Thank you.
Wow, that is actually is a relatable story because I mean relatable. As we are talking about your story, I mean one of the problems that we are faced in our world is that people only want to hear about the glory. People only want to see the success that people are showcasing on the different social media platforms. However, before those success came to them, there were days of crying. There were like in your own case now, you said you slept in the church for 7 years. In my own case, I was actually living on the waters. I mean, that is a story for another day. When flooding took over our house, I was literally sleeping on waters. And I think it is good for us to always give a balanced story. let us share balanced story so that people don't think that the success actually happened overnight. So that people don't think that there was a shortcut to success. You mentioned the other day that, not the other day, just a few minutes ago, that your success has to pass through process. And part of the process was you sleeping in church. And that you can't be sleeping in church and your brain is not going to be up and running. You can't be sleeping on the bench and you're going to be sleeping with your 2 eyes closed. No, you'll be sleeping and you are thinking, you're still thinking, your brain is still working. And no wonder you are this successful, right? And I'm happy that you are doing a whole lot of things, even to give back to Okiodo and some other places. Like, we cannot come to, the way we are brought up in Okiodo, we are not to blow our trumpet too much. We are so conservative. A lot of us are doing a lot of things behind the scene that don't come to the mainstream from social media. And I thank you for what you are doing. Thank you so, so much. I mean, I really appreciate it. And indeed, Okiodo is raising giants. And I think you need to say something to people that are hearing this from Okiodo. Maybe you need to say some few words to people that are in Okiodo currently and hearing you. Please tell them something, Dotun.
You see, if you are living in Okiodo, you need to realize that you are living in Oke, on top of the sea, Okiodo, and you always be at the top. Okelema. Just be focused. Focus. Just be focused. That Okiodo. Before we used to call people Tukumbo. Some people that have jumped, gone abroad, that have gone on Odu to the other side. When you remain steady, when you remain focused, you will climb to the peak of your career. Okiodo, that's what I can pick from Okiodo. Wagun Okiodo, Losi Bigiga, journey.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm really happy. I'm proud to be from Okiodo. I mean, I'm proud to have lived in Okiodo for my formative years. I'm proud for the trainings, for the things I went through in Okiodo, and for who I am today. Thank you so much. Now, before I let you go, I believe that a lot of successful people have failed before. A lot of successful people have stories or history of failure as well. There are tons of people that we have read in history who are successful, but who also have tons of history of records of failure. Now, has Dotun failed before? If yes, how have you been able to deal with failure and translate it into success?
Well, every innovator, there is no innovator that will not experience failure. I have experienced failures in some of my works, in my approach to creating my works. And the only thing I do is to start all over again. Now, there was a piece of work that I did 4 years ago. I was creating a sculpture of Fela. And I was hoping to exhibit that work in 2020 when I did my last solo exhibition. I did the work for 1 year, thinking that I will exhibit it. But after some time, I looked at the anatomy of the work, relating it with the legendary Afro musician, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. I saw that what I created was too masculine, like his muscles his cranium were too big in relating to other part of the body, Then I told myself, no, I'm not going to show this work. It was painful because I had people that were bidding for it already. They wanted to give me money, to get the work. But I told them, no, I'm not satisfied with this work. So I went back to my studio. I broke the work down into pieces and I started over again. So in the process of starting all over again, I paid attention to details. What are the things that made me to fail? I wrote them down, I penned them down, and I corrected those errors. Now, sometimes we might just be working out of passion. When you are passionate about something, there's this drive, there's this energy that comes inside it. But if you don't discipline that passion, you'll be distracted. So I brought out discipline. That no, I know that I'm passionate, yes, but I have to take my time and separate my emotion from my profession. I don't know if you get that. So sometimes you be so emotional, you just want to do it because you're passionate, you know. At the end of it all, you just do something like rubbish. So I calm down myself, study the rule of law, study the rule of engagement in creating an amazing work of art, then paying attention to details. Now I have a fella, Nicola Kuda, I'm going to show this year in my next solo that will shock the world. So it's failure is a process. Everyone you have to experience it, but your ability to sustain, to solve the problem is what makes you an innovator. I mean, we know the history of Steve Jobs and even Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been promising us Tesla Cybertruck, and some of the innovations there are still failing. So, and yet he didn't stop. So many things happen to innovators, to creatives, that looks like failure, but your ability to stay on your craft is what will put you at the peak of your career.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, thank you. That is fantastic. I mean, that is fantastic. Knowing that you can use a failure as a springboard to success. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, one of the last questions I'm going to ask you, Dotun, is this: that and I think you have maybe you have just picked into my question. I was going to ask what should we be expecting next from Dotun? We know that you always come out new, you always come out fantastic. You have just said something about your new solo exhibition. So what should people be expecting from you next?
Well, in the next few months from now, I'm going to be doing my solo exhibition, and that will be my 7th solo exhibition in Lagos. I choose Lagos because every African giant that in history actually did something in Lagos. The like of Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido's, Two-Face. For me, I may be the Wizkid or the Davido or the Burna Boy of the visual arts industry. I don't know. But I expect a powerful exhibition from my recent work in the last 3 years. So I've been doing a lot of works in the last 3 years, and I'm going to be showing them this year. Wow. So expect them. That's number one. Number two, by the grace of God, I am building a scrap art museum, the first of its kind in Africa, first of its kind in Nigeria. And the museum is dedicated to recycling, part of the SDG goals, recycling art from different artists from different parts of the world. I have met a lot of scrap artists across the globe, and some of them have promised their loyalty. They're going to give me works, and the little resources I've been getting, on 1 acre, I have been trying to build the museum. This museum is going to be world standard, and I know that the whole world will visit that place. Initially, the place was supposed to be in Lekki, Lagos, but due to the land mass is so small, the car parks are very small, the rules are too tight. I move it to the cradle of Yoruba race, Ile-Ife, where Ile-Ife. So I got large expanse of land, massive. and we have started building this museum. So I believe that in the next few days or in few years, the whole world will visit that museum. I have a big dream so that dreamers, great innovators like you will support me in this dream, because I want to have artificial intelligence in place in that museum. I want the place to be a tech hub. I want it to be a place for incubating creative genius and tech genius that will go into, aeronautics, mechanics, using mechanic part to create sci-fi, creating robotics and stuff like that. So that museum is going to be relevant for that. Children will come on Saturdays just to come and make robots from scraps, maybe plastic scraps, and we'll bring a lot of scientists that can teach them coding, robotics, and stuff like that. So the world is changing, the world is growing, and Africa needs help. Nigeria needs help. And I feel that the few energy that I have, I may be able to, deliver my best. Well, there are other things in pipeline.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. These are very massive dreams. These are like audacious dreams. These are very, very massive. And I wish you all the best as you unleash all of these dreams to the world and to redefine the narrative of Nigeria and Africa. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have any other final thoughts as we wrap up this session. If you have any other final thoughts, then this is the time to let it out.
Well, I just want to encourage my viewers and listeners to keep dreaming big and to give more to humanity. We need to die empty. A lot of people have ideas. A lot of people are innovators. They have great potentials, but they are pushing behind. Some people don't even want people to copy their innovation. They don't want people. A lot of people have done electric cars. People have done different kind of innovation. There's nothing new. So you need to come out bold, be ready to save humanity, be ready to help, give out, die empty, give out yourself to humanity. And I think that's the best thing to do to remain happy and to remain relevant. I want to appreciate you, Johnson, I know, for this opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It's a privilege. And I will be glad to watch this video over and again and to share it to my viewers too. Thank you so much. And I look forward to this opportunity again.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you are a very busy man. The Dot man himself, the mad artist, the wise artist, the celebrity welder himself. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share from your wealth of experience so that we can create more success stories like yours. Thank you so much, and I wish you a very wonderful